Hello, welcome to the Real Internet Come Forth Meet the Author Session Live. My name is Internet Smith and I'm your author. Remember to get your books, get your books, get your books, people. Some of them are on sale at Barnes& & Noble, Amazon, Google, Apple iTunes, Walmart.com, Target.com, Books A Million, Kobo, Indigo, and Tails. All of them come in paperback and digital version. Get your copies today. Today is a question and answer session. I will be answering some questions that were sent to me. I probably don't get through all of them today, so I'll make a second video in a couple of weeks, okay? Okay, the first one is why didn't you tell your parents or someone about your molestation? I didn't tell my parents about my molestation because my abuser, the pedophile that started to molest me, had already put fear in us children. I don't know if you know my story, but before my molestation started at the daycare center. So he had already begun to torture us. He would choke us, kick us, um, pinch us, punches in the stomach. And this is before he started the molestation. He was just a mean um, adult child, a teen child. So by the time the molestation started, and he started saying if I tell he would kill me, I believed him. And then it wasn't just him; it was two more other boys. So I was bound by fear. So that's why I never told my parents or anyone. Okay, hope I answered your question. That question was coming from Illinois. The next question is titled Criticism Towards You. It says, some people believe your story. Some people think you're just trying to make money by selling books. When you tell your story in public and you see people not believing you, even your family and close friends, how do you stand your ground with the publication of your books? Um, how do you manage these oppositions on every side to keep your focus to achieve your goal to where you are right now? And then it says, how do you manage doubt? Where did you get your assurance? How did you keep going? How do you know you are doing the right thing? And despite any support, finances, encouragement, and this is coming from Lagos, Nigeria. Now, if any of you have seen my question and answer session before, we know. Give me that Nigeria always asks 4, 5, 6 questions at once. So I'm gonna break it down each question that I see. Okay, so they titled it "Criticism Towards You." Some people believe your story. Some people think you're just trying to make money by selling books. When you tell your story in public and you see people not believing you, even your family or close friends, how do you stand your ground with the publication of your books? Okay, Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm going to answer this question. Um, Everybody don't believe my story. That's fine. Some of my family didn't believe my story. Probably still don't believe it. Some of my close friends, they question it. But that's their issue. I don't make it mine. I know I lived it. I know I walked through it. And I'm not trying to tell my story or write books to make money. I give away more books than I sell because I want to be an encouragement to people. I'm just putting pen to paper to my experience, telling what happened to me. And I'm not telling my story as a point of a victim. I'm telling my story as a point of a testimony that God has brought me. He has kept me. And He is the one that He'll deliver me and set me free from these traumatic experiences. I experienced molestation from age 4 to 11. I became pregnant at 12 years old. I had my first child at 13. I had my third child at 16. Okay, I had my fifth child at 23. So I don't, I'm not telling it from a victim point of view. So it really doesn't matter if people believe me or not. I'm telling my point of view. I'm telling my story to give God the glory and dethrone the devil. All right. So that's how I stand my ground with publication of my books and how I could keep going. Right now I have published 17 books and working on my third book series in the last 6 years. So it really doesn't matter to me what people say or think. Okay. Apparently somebody believes that my books are selling and I get royalty checks. So you know that's the way I feel about that. And then it says, how do you manage those oppositions on every side and keep your focus to achieve your goals to where you are right now? I keep my eyes on the prize, which is Jesus. Writing my books was part of my healing process to deliverance. And that is what the Lord told me as I wrote and told my story, that he would heal me. And that's exactly what happened. So I was seeking my freedom. I never wanted to talk about the molestation. I had talked about many things throughout my life about the things that happened to me, but the molestation I never parted my lips about. I never talked about. So when the Lord told me that this was my process to true deliverance and freedom, then I took it. I argued with it at first, but then I wanted to be free. So it's all a matter of how you want to be free. Okay? And so this was my freedom process. This was my delivering process. So now you get to hear my story. How do you manage doubt? Where did you get your assurance? I got my assurance from Jesus. He the one that he'll deliver me and set me free. And whom the Son set free is free indeed. So I don't have to answer to anyone but him. As long as I please him and do what he tell me to do, all is well. So I'm not moved by what people believe or don't believe. They didn't believe Christ, and he still made it. So if I'm going to be like him and walk in his footsteps, I'm going to have haters, naysayers, believers and non-believers. And that's just a part of life. That's just a part of the Christian walk. That's just a part of being human. Okay? I'm not called to everybody. I'm called to a few people, So, and I'm satisfied with that. Okay? And he say, how do you keep going in the midst of all the red flags? That's how I keep going. How do you know you're doing the right thing despite any support, finances, or encouragement? I've never asked anyone for a dime to publish my books. I published all my books myself out of my own pocket. I never solicited funds from the public. I never asked anybody for anything. I never got any loans of any kind. I own all of my rights to all of my books. So I pay the cost to tell my story. Okay. And then far as support, if I have one person to support me, that's fine. If I have 50, that's fine. I learned to be like David in the Bible. I encourage myself in the Lord. I had already been through a series throughout my life where I was already in a position by myself all the time because I had so many different things going on in my life, and just walking through different darkness and different stages of life, and didn't have people to support me. The people that were supposed to support me, they didn't support me. They didn't protect me. They didn't love at certain times. So those are phases and stages that the Lord had already taken me through in my life. So now that I publish my books publicly, I'm not moved by if people support me or don't support me. I'm doing what I'm called to do. And so he supports me, and that's good enough for me. Long as I have God on my side and Jesus with me. He said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And the Holy Spirit leading and guide me. That's all I need. If I get a human being that support me, then that's good and fine. But if I don't, I'm good because I'm covered by the Trinity. Okay, so that's how I deal with that. So I hope I have answered your question, Lagos Nigeria. The next one say, I follow you on Facebook and I see you go to the homeless shelters, missions in Africa, working with children, your free seminars under your empowerment ministry. You say all of your services are paid for by you yourself. What is your driving force to make you take money from your family and give to strangers? Some not thankful, some don't say thank you. What are you looking for in return? What is your gain? And that is coming from Missouri. I'm going to read it again. It said, I follow you on Facebook. I see you go to the homeless shelters, missions in Africa, working with children for your free seminars on the empowerment ministry. You say all of your services are paid for by yourself, by you yourself. What is your driving force to make you take money from your family and give to strangers? Some not thankful, some don't say thank you. What are you looking for in return? What is your gain? And that is from Missouri. Okay, hello Missouri. Thank you for following me on Facebook. Yes, I do go to the homeless shelters. I go to the homeless shelter in Louisiana, and I go to the homeless shelter in Mississippi. And yes, I do work with children under my empowerment ministry, and I also go to the community center in Jackson and work with the youth under my empowerment ministry. And yes, I do the free seminars, Intro to Workforce, Intro to Business Management seminars, and how to write a book or a book series, all under my empowerment ministry that I pay for myself. Once again, I do not solicit funds from the public. When the Lord give me money through my businesses that I own, and he tell me to invest it into my empowerment ministry and to give to the shelters, that is exactly what I do. When he tell me to invest into the widows, the single parents, the sick and the shut in, the cancer patient, that is exactly what I do. Because the Bible says in Proverbs, the scripture that he gave me, he that had pity on the needy, lend it to the Lord, that he will repay again. So when I have pity on the needy, and I lend my money to the Lord, he will pay me again. He give me my money back. So I'm not really taking from my family. Sometimes it may appear like I'm investing more into my into the empowerment ministry, into strangers, more than it is my family, but you don't understand the revelation behind it. The revelation behind it is I'm sowing seeds for my great grandchildren. I'm working on a generational blessing. If I do what I need to do right now and sow the seeds that the Lord tell me to sow right now, my children, grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren won't have to suffer, because the Lord say I will bless you down to the third and the fourth generation. So that is my game. That is what I'm looking for. I'm already working on my great-grandchildren now. You see what I'm saying? The things I'm doing this now and this year right here is already setting the foundation for my grandchildren's children. So that is what I'm working on. I'm not working on a temporal thing. So many of us live in the now. You don't make a plan for your future. You don't make a plan for your children's future. You don't make a plan for your grandchildren's future. I don't want them to have to start at the bottom coming up. I want them to build on the foundation I already laid. That's why I've already broke ground on several levels, on several realms, so my children and grandchildren don't have to suffer and go through. Sometimes it get kind of turbulence when they think I should do more for them now, but I know the plan that I'm working on that's going to benefit them later on. And what's wrong with giving to the shelters? I myself lived at homeless shelters with first I had 3 children, then I had 5, and we passed through them. You know what I mean? Battered women's shelters, homeless shelters. So what's wrong with giving back? It's a part of giving back. These people have given me and my children a place to stay when I didn't have a place to stay. So it's a part of giving back. Working with children, you can never go wrong working with children. Somebody have to invest into their future. You know, when you invest into a child, you happen to save nations. They are our future. They're going to be running the countries that we live in when we get older. So you need to invest in them now. So that's my game. So it's multiple reasons why I do the things that I do. And then I'm so grateful that God has blessed me. He made me to be a blessing unto millions. And so I don't just get to stack and have, just get all I can and can all I get. But no, you have to be a giver, especially to be a Christian. You can't be a stingy Christian and think you're going to get blessed, and God going to continue to give you something. You ain't giving anybody anything. You're not blessing anybody anything. You're not changing anybody's life. You're not helping to save nobody's life. You're not helping to make people's lives better or anything. You think God going to keep giving to you? No. So that is my game. That is what I'm looking for in return, generational blessings. Okay, so hope I have answered your question, Missouri. I'm gonna take one more. Any field we go into, we have passion. No, I'm not going. Yeah, okay. Any field we go into, we have passion, desire, inspiration. Why do you choose to be a caregiver? Why do you still work as a caregiver when you own the business? Why do you desire to be among the people, the clients, still instead of running your office full time? What inspires you? Why do you choose to take the care of people instead of another career choice? Why do you choose to take the mess of people, the job many people run from? Why do you take it up as a profession? And this is coming from Massachusetts, so I'm going to read it again. Any field we go into, we have passion, desire, inspiration. Why do you choose to be a caregiver? Why do you still work as a caregiver when you own the business? Why do you desire to be among the people, the clients, still instead of running your office full time? What inspired you? Why do you choose to take care of people instead of another career choice? Why do you choose to take the mess of people, the job many people run from? Why do you take it up as a profession? Okay, so yes, I have passion. Yes, I have desire. Yes, I was inspired. I was trained into being a caregiver unknowingly. My parents saw something in me that God wanted to develop and needed to develop. And so my first client, the first person I was getting to take care of was my grandmother, my mother's mother. She was on kidney dialysis, and my mom moved her into our house, and I had to bring her water, help her out the van, help bring her food, bring her starch and stuff like that. And when I first started, I hated it because she would always call me. I was the baby and the only girl, and I had 3 older brothers, and she never called them to help her do anything. And I used to be like, why y'all always call me? My mom would say, help mama, And I'm like, why y'all always call me and don't call anybody else? Even when my other cousins was over to our house, they never called them. They always called me. So I hated it. And then when I would go to my father's house, he would bring me to Mississippi and help take care of my grandmother. I was a late in life baby. My father had me when he was in his 50s. So my grandmother was 78 years old when I was born. So she developed diabetes. And so my auntie was getting up in age, and my father was getting up in age, and so they was telling me to help give my grandmother her bath, and she was fighting me hand and foot. She would not let me help her, and I said she wanted. It was like, give her bath, like bathe mama, and I'm like, she won't let me help. They like bathe her like we said. So I ain't want to get a whooping. I didn't want to get in trouble. And I'm like 8 or 9 years old. So something just told me to tell my grandmother, well, do this and let me do that. I'll let you do this, you let me do that, and I got her bathed, and then it became my responsibility to help bathe my grandmother. And then they graduated me and told me I had to learn how to give her insulin shots because one day she may need it and neither one of them may not be there. So I had to get trained on how to take care of it. And so I was really afraid of that because I'm scared of needles. And so she was like, just stick me. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to hurt you, And so that's how I started out as a caregiver. But after my mother's passed when I was 9, I was like, Lord, if you bring her back, I promise I won't complain about bringing her water or helping out the car or bringing her starch, and I'll do whatever she asks me. Just bring her back, because I thought I could just pray and bring her back, and I thought that I didn't help her enough. That's why she passed. Because I was a child. But I told the Lord, if you give me an opportunity to help somebody, I would, and I would complain about it. And it just became a love, a passion of mine. I always wanted to be a nurse, and then I realized that I was always around sick people. And so it became something that I love. It's a calling that is on my life. So I'm not really operating in a trade. I'm operating in a calling and a gift that is on my life for caregiving. The only license I ever had was a CNA license, and I just developed different characteristics and traits along the way to help be an expert in my field. I am now an expert in my field. I'm the best in my field. So, and that one I'm just not just saying that's been told to me time and time again, but it's a calling on my life, and I love it. And so I'm answering the call of God on my life when I work with these people. And why I choose to still work with the people, I love relationship. I love the personal contact. I know that I am imparting into these people's lives to help give them the best care, the best quality of life while they're under my care and while they're in my care. A lot of them, we are the only thing that they have, the caregivers. A lot of their children and grandchildren forsake them. I've worked in nursing homes, rehab, rehabilitation centers, home health, all of these kinds of places. And then I see the neglect. I see the heartbreak of the clients, and so I just love to bring them comfort. I love to bring them joy, and they help me as well. I get to learn and live up and hear about their lifestyles, and it helped me to get further in life because I sit at the feet of wisdom. You can never live long enough to know everything, and so it's a give and take relationship. I give them care, they give me wisdom. And so that's why I love it. Yes, I would rather be in the field working with my clients than sitting in the office doing a lot of paperwork, which I still do. I have multiple companies and I have to do paperwork and things like that. I tried to give up caregiving a few times, and I did. And it just felt like I was missing something. It felt like a part of me was gone, and it really was. But the minute I'm back caring for people, I'm happy, I'm joyful. So it's just embedded into me. I don't know no other way to be. I love writing books. I'm an author, you know. I love it. I love to write books. I love to read. I love to work with the children. I love my empowerment ministry and teaching the seminars and doing the You Can Make It sessions and traveling and doing things like that. I love real estate. Going into real estate and stuff like that. I love all of those things, but if I had a choice, the thing that I love the most is being a caregiver. It's a sign of humility. And it is, you call it the mess of people, the job many people run from. A lot of people do run from this career. They think it's the bottom of the barrel. They think you the low totem pole. They think you're uneducated because you wipe butts and and take care of people like that. But they don't know it's a sign of humility. I'm doing like Jesus. He was a master of all, but he still washed the disciples' feet. And so it's a sign of humility. I don't ever want to feel like I'm so high above that I can't come down and clean somebody but or wipe their nose. You understand? So it don't matter how far or how high I get in God or in society. I still should be able to come down and help the needy, help the person that's in need, help the person that's in sick, because you don't know when you may be the one that needs somebody to take care of you. So I'm sowing seed. So I love it. And so I hope I have answered your question, Massachusetts. And I thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for sharing my videos, watching my videos, sharing it with your friends, your family, and your loved ones. Continue to purchase my products. And remember, until we meet again, God gets the glory and I tell the story. Goodbye.